What's happening, guys? You guys have probably seen me all over the world the past 6 months. We ran a ton of marathons. We've been on the move. We've ran 6 marathons in the past 6 months. Let's break them down and talk more about why I have been running this many races. Honestly, I didn't even plan on running this many races, but I was looking at my calendar of races that I knew I was gonna run. Houston being the first one in January, and then Austin in February, because me being a local Austin guy, I have to run the Austin Marathon. And obviously last year, I worked really hard to get a sub 3-hour marathon to run in Boston in April. So when I started looking at the dates just within the months of the year, I was like, oh damn, like we're already doing 4 marathons within the first 6 months. So then I was talking to my team and I'm like, yo, March, there's a really good race in LA, which is a major freaking city, and I wanted to be part of that race. And once I signed up for that one, I told myself, I'm like, let me see if I could run 1 marathon a month. And I think it's really cool for me because obviously I've been running a ton the past couple years, but the ability to continue to push yourself even when no one's asked you to do it. Honestly, I wanted to set a challenging goal for myself, but something that was still doable. There's been a ton of people that have ran marathons multiple days in a row. So the thought for me to do one once a month, I felt like was a challenging goal, but still very, very attainable because you're giving yourself enough time to rest between each race. So how have I been taking care of myself? The first thing has been sleep. I have been doing a really good job of getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. And I think that's the #1 thing that has allowed me to recover myself, not only mentally, but also physically from running this much. I think the next thing would be nutrition, just getting enough calories in my system, because as you're running a lot of miles and you're putting this much stress on the body, you have to replenish it with enough calories. The third thing would be decreasing my running volume each week. Now, when I was doing a proper marathon prep going for a sub 3, I was running anywhere from 50 to 65 miles per week. Now, I've kind of lowered that into doing closer to 25 to 35 miles a week, just because I don't have as much time to actually recover and get into peak marathon shape, because within 30 days, you're basically going to a marathon, going through a recovery week, and then trying to get some training in, and then going to a tapered week of training. So now my volume of running is not nearly as high as it is in peak marathon training. I'm just doing a lot more maintenance building between each marathon, making sure that I am dealing with all my injuries or anything that's nagging me so I can show up to the race healthy. Running this many races, I've learned a lot about the marathon distance. You have to respect the 26.2 miles no matter where it's at, whether it's in a big course like Boston or a small race like the Texas Triple. Whether it's the course layout, your nutrition prep, the actual race itself, the crowd support, there's so many variables that go into a marathon, but at the end of the day, you have to cover 26.2 miles and you have to respect that distance. The 3 main challenges have been nutrition, footwear, course, and crowd support. Let's discuss nutrition first. When it comes to nutrition, I haven't followed a consistent strategy. Whether it's me forgetting gels or actually just drinking or using food that is on the course, I've wanted to test myself in my body to see what is the most optimal way to fuel myself for the marathon. Whether it's bringing my own gels or using Ketone IQ or actually just bringing nothing and using only what the course offers, I found ways to complete all 6 marathons with different approaches for nutrition. My biggest takeaway is that there's different ways to approach nutrition. If you want to hit a PR, utilizing gels probably is the best strategy, but for a lot of these races, I was just trying to complete it and having fun with the community that was out there supporting. So whether it was drinking beers or eating banana bread or eating candy, there's a lot of different ways to fuel your body when you're completing the marathon distance. And I think for a lot of runners, you shouldn't stress yourself out so much if you don't have enough gels or if you don't have everything that you need, because at the end of the day, you can still complete the distance with what they have at the course. Next, let's discuss footwear. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably see all the different shoes that I've worn for these marathons. And I've tested some of the most popular shoe options down to daily trainers in a marathon. And through these races, I've learned what shoe works best for me and my running gait, my cadence, and what causes the least amount of pain post-marathon. Finally, let's talk about the crowd and then the course layout. These are 2 things that are completely out of your control as a runner, but you can utilize some of these for your advantage and also for your disadvantage. Whether it's a crazy crowd like in Boston or in LA, that's gonna give you guys a lot of extra lift, a lot of extra motivation to keep running. But sometimes those courses could also be tougher. So it's kind of like a pro and con when you're running at a tough course like Boston. The good thing is it's a tough course, but you also have an awesome feedback from the crowd. Now on the flip end, the Texas Triple in Dallas was a very boring course. It had almost no one cheering. It was a 3.2 mile loop around a lake. Obviously with a course like that, you have to dig deep into your own mindset, into your own psychology to really keep pushing forward. But the positive is you're running around a 3.2 loop that has no elevation. So arguably it is an easier course, even though it is boring as hell. With all this crazy travel, it's been really enjoyable to explore new cities and also just being open to new challenges, even as I run these marathons. Whether it's Patel on the Hill, the Legends Quavo flag football game, Montauk to freaking New York City. And I think for me, above all else, it's all about having fun, creating memories, and saying yes to crazy shit. So my next race is the San Francisco Marathon on July 23rd. If any of you guys are on the West Coast or you live in SF or you're running that race, I'll see you all there. And to close this out, go do some hard shit for yourself. Set a crazy challenging goal and see if you can accomplish it. And I guarantee whether you do or you don't, you'll learn something about yourself. Peace. We're out.